Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because I have a question. And the question's very simple. Have bank bail-ins already started? A lot to cover today. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Today we have a sponsor, the Satellite Phone Store, and a little bit more from them later. But let's get right into it. Because of our fractional banking system, the financial institutions, especially the big ones, basically teetering right now globally for a complete collapse. And the thing that I want to ask, and that it looks very apparent, it looks like bank bail-ins have already started. Now, when the global recession happened in 2007 and 2008, the banks came up with a plan, and that was not to get bailed out by the governments, but to actually get bailed in by using your deposits as a way to fund the bank and keep the banks open. Now, you can sit there and go, oh, you're out of your mind, Dan. Well, I did this probably 3-4 months ago. I covered this one, and I'll share that video with you guys below. But first thing is bank bail-ins are a realistic thing, and we are seeing nothing but problems right now with banks being undercapitalized. Now think about this. When the banking system got started, the banks had to keep a certain percentage of our money in the bank. You would give them money and they had to keep a certain percentage that was guaranteed inside the bank. That got lowered and lowered and lowered. It was 30%, down to 17%, down to 10%. And then it got lowered to 3% and 1%. Do you know what happened in March of 2020? In March of 2020, well, we were preoccupied with something else. The banks got rid of the fractional limit and made it zero. So when you put money in, even cash inside that bank, they don't hold it, they lend it out. They sell things, insurance, different investments, different programs that are not necessarily insured by the FDIC. So you're not protected right now. You're not protected with your money that you think is sitting in that financial institution, because it's not. Now think about this. We've been told here in the States that the FDIC insurance is $250,000. Well, great. Here's an article that came out yesterday. Okay? Take a look at this. And the article says that, hey, do you have insurance for your deposits? And it's written about the FDIC, and it's got links to the FDIC. So if you have more than $250,000 in a bank, it's not insured. If you have $150,000 in savings and $150,000 in checking, you're going to lose $50,000 if the bank fails. That's not what I was told, Dan. I was told my separate accounts were protected. No, read the article below because it's disturbing right now. Now, the one thing that we keep hearing about around the world, and it doesn't matter where you live, is that the banks are withholding money in a bigger scope on a weekly basis right now. The UK is clearly the biggest problem right now that we're hearing about. And here's the thing. They're doing it through banking transactions, and also through PayPal seems to be the biggest problem. Now, the thing that floors me is they're doing these really weird sectors. Okay? It's not people that sell weapons. It's not anything like that. It's journalists that they're holding the money from, and people that are writers. Now, you can sit there and say, oh, journalists are bad people. No. Are you talking about people that do travel blogs? Those are bad people? Oh, okay. What about people that do architecture, and they do furniture reviews? Oh, those are dangerous people. Okay? Come on, guys. It gets kind of ridiculous. Fashion, fitness, all this stuff that's being held. So, that being said, I had people reach out and send me stories. Barristers, or basically lawyers, are having this problem. Service people, people that install windows in the UK, are getting their accounts frozen for no reason. Those are clearly criminals, okay? The thing that I want to remind everybody is that, in times like this, you pay union dues for certain things. You have to step forward to your unions right now and demand that they help you in times like this, because what good is a union if they're not going to help you in down times like this? And if people can share existing stories, if you've got a construction union, a writers union, journalists, newspapers, whatever, Okay, make sure that they're on top of this stuff, guys, that you're getting your money protected, because this is getting to become a serious problem. Now, the Bank of Canada just issued a story that they may have to get bailed out because of they're upside down by $1 billion. They think they're going to be upside down $1 billion in 2022 and $4 billion in 2023, but they may be able to rein it back into $3 billion next year. But the Bank of Canada is on the brink too. Now, that's a new one, guys. That's one that we haven't heard of this week, but now we're hearing that the Bank of Canada has a problem. So there's a lot more to cover on this, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Satellite Phone Store. You know, when I set up my preparedness plan for my family, the one thing that was missing was communication if the grid went down or if there was a natural disaster. What were we going to do to get a hold of one another? I don't have to worry about that anymore because I've got a satellite phone from the Satellite Phone Store. And think about this, for only $99.95 a month, you can have 150 minutes that you can use, that you can communicate regardless of if there's power or not, regardless if the cell networks are up or down. It makes no difference. Think about Hurricane Ian and how the cellular network went completely down and people couldn't communicate and they couldn't use their cell phones. The advantage to a satellite phone is you can call cell phones from that. Cell phones can call you. So if you want to communicate with family members around the world, around the globe, you're going to be able to do that. So the next thing is something called the Bivvy. This is the absolute coolest thing because it turns your phone into a satellite texting device. And think about this, for less than $2 a day, you can get weather reports, you can send an emergency notification to your family, friends, people that are on your network. So if you are a hiker, if you're a hunter, if you're a fisherman, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and disaster strikes, people can hear from you. And that's only a couple bucks a day. Please take a look at the link below from the Satellite Phone Store using the link iAllegedly and look at all the savings. But think about this. We've talked about the grids going down. We've talked about how we're going to communicate and how we're going to prepare. And you need to look at something like this because this is the least expensive way and the safest way to communicate with your family in a disaster. Now, my family, I'm thrilled because everybody's connected and our plan is complete now. Because now, regardless of what happens, if the grid goes down, if there is a disaster, we're going to be able to use satellite technology to communicate with one another. Take a look at it today. Use the link below from the Satellite Phone Store. It's absolutely amazing. The prices are unbelievable, but take a look at it today. They're a great company. Check them out today. Now, here's the thing that happens with me with this channel, and that you'll start to talk about something. You know, talk about real estate, and you'll see that real estate will be a hot topic, and you'll get a lot of real estate stories. All of a sudden, we're getting a flurry of banking stories, and it's not just, hey, banks are bad. No, it's the flurry is that banks are not financially viable. Is your bank safe? Will your bank stay open right now? That's the consensus. That's the question right now. That is the most insane question ever because we all have to have banks. I have told you guys and warned you guys for months to make sure that your money is out of the banks right now and that you have cash on hand regardless of wherever you live right now. But when you're starting to see your business not be able to accept cash, not be able to accept money and have it be transferred through, I'm concerned that these banks are just going to go upside down. So let's take a look at some more of these stories. We're starting to see bigger problems around the globe. And as we see these banks withholding money, withholding withdrawals, it is not just happening here in the States, it's happening in Israel, it's happening in the UK, it's happening in Canada, and you're having regional areas, state by state here in the United States, that are having funds withheld. And it's not just the little banks. Whoa, look at this. It's really big banks as well. So the pigeons took up all the spots. No place to sit. Have you guys ever seen a baby pigeon? Somebody asked me that. I never have. They're always full grown. You notice that? Okay. So, disturb the pigeons. The banks are in financial difficulty right now, and they're in trouble worldwide. For you to rely on the insurance for your deposits is foolish right now. And there's a great article below about what's insured, what's not, how you can have more money in one bank. But again, I have a woman, Dawn, that wrote me who sold a house for $1.5 million profit and put $250,000 in multiple institutions because she was concerned about that. And as the interest went over the 250, she went and collected it because I don't trust you guys. We're hearing more and more stories as people go into the bank and their credit lines are cut, their cash withdrawal limits are cut, and again, the banks don't want the money taken out of the bank. You need to start ordering $4,000 and above. That's insane, guys, if a bank does not have $4,000 in their coffers to give somebody. So Dennis wrote us and told us that he needed $5,000 for boat parts. They gave him 20s. We don't have hundreds. Sorry, Dennis, here's $5,000 in 20s for you, which he was grateful to get the cash. So there's that. But you have to look at this and understand the severity of what's happening with these financial institutions, because I don't think this is going to get better anytime soon. And for us to get the flurry of stories that we have below, take a look at them and take a look at, is this the Lehman moment? Are we about to see all of our banks completely go out of business? There's a liquidity problem. And at night, you have to look at what the banks are doing, where they're lending each other money to give the illusion that they have money. In other words, I want you to take $1,000 and put it in your left pocket, okay? I want you to take that same $1,000 and move it to your right pocket, and imagine saying, oh, we have $2,000 because we moved it over here. No, you don't. You have $1,000, okay? You can move it to your back pocket too, and it's still $1,000. It's not $3,000. So that's the problem with this. But this is growing every single day. Now, one thing I do to start my day every single day is I get up Monday through Friday and I watch Greg Mannarino. And the first thing I look at before I turn him on is watch the MMRA, which is the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator that he has. Right now, guys, it's hit the highest level ever, 290. And again, I watch him at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. If you guys don't follow Greg Mannarino, please follow Greg Mannarino. He's one of my financial and fiscal heroes. I'm going to Las Vegas next week. He's one guy that I'm so happy I get to finally meet this guy in person. And we're going to have a chat. So I cannot wait to meet one of my financial and fiscal heroes, to say the least. Hey guys, I was walking through Laguna and ran into Daniel, and he follows the channel, but he also follows the Economic Ninja and Chris, the financial prepper.
Yes.
And I just wanted to bring him on. Lives in Huntington Beach, but out here working out. Man, the guy's going up and down and getting himself the full workout out here. And beautiful day.
It is.
You know?
It really is.
So what do you think, bro? What do you think about the economy right now? Do you think there's big problems?
You know, what I'm learning from all three of you guys, and the prepper's wife, is there's so much that I've learned that I've shared with my family, my parents.
Good.
And we started buying gold and silver because of you guys. And so I buy it from a local place in Huntington Beach. I've been buying that, and then I watch almost every single day. There's something I'm learning every single day from you guys. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And I'll continue searching. And Mr. Ninja, I bought that your course. So I've been watching those as well.
Oh,
so
wow,
all you guys,
this guy's a true fan. So that's awesome, man. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And onward and upward, guys. We got some more news, but it was nice running into Daniel.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
It was great running into Dan. He was a really good guy, and I could have talked to him for an hour. But another thing, great article from FX Street, and that is your bank safe? Is your money safe? And this is a question that, think about this, we used to not have to ask this question. And now, with the financial instability that we're seeing and all these banks stepping forward with questions, they're concerned about the economy, they're concerned about growth, they're going to start having layoffs. You know, JP Morgan, this is going to be worse than a regular recession. You've got Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse that are on the brink, that they could go completely out of business and be shut down. But again, is it a Lehman moment? Is that what we have to look forward to right now? Is the financial situation that dire that these places are going to go completely out of business? You know, your money's not safe right now in the bank. You have to have cash out of the bank right now. It's just that simple. And you know, people talk about fractional pooling. I think that you've got to have, you know, investments. You've got to have gold. You've got to have silver. People have stocks. But man, get some solid financial advice right now, because I think that it's now more than ever. You need to have talked to somebody that's been through at least 2000 and 2008, so that you can sit there and realize what the options are right now. Because if you don't have a plan and you're just hoping that things are going to work out, there is no hope, guys, for this. This is not going to work out well at all. This park, by the way, guys, is so cool. You've got the War Memorial up here, which is awesome. But you've got all these different picnic areas and different places that overlook the Pacific Ocean for the price of parking. And you've got these cool little walkways down here that lead to all these different cool picnic spots, and I mean, just a lot of privacy up here as far as having parties and just bringing guests up here and stuff. I love to bring people up here because they can't believe it's free. There's bathrooms, there's just places to hang out. There's lawn bowling for, you know, if you want to meet women, it's just fantastic. So there's that. But again, as far as the banking stuff, guys, goes, this is getting more and more precarious by the week. There's gonna be a problem, but the bank bail-in is something you have to look at. That is when they use your deposits, and you know, there won't be a traditional bailout this time. You're going to see the credit freeze happen. You're going to see a point in time where the ATMs will not work, your debit cards will not work, your credit cards will not work. And are you ready for that? You have to be ready for times like this, because they're coming. And if you think, oh, guy's crazy, guy's nuts, look at all the articles. There's too many now, and everybody's talking about the financial instability of the banking system right now. So share your thoughts on this stuff so far. It's a lot more to cover. And nobody's lawn bowling today. There is a great article out of AP, and it talks about UK inflation, especially food inflation. Food inflation over the last month rose 14.2%, the highest level in 40 years. 40 years. These poor people in the UK are experiencing food prices to the highest level ever. Okay? Let's be truthful. The one thing that drives me crazy is they said, hey, this drove inflation to just above 10%. How? How is that possible, guys? Do you really believe that inflation in the UK is only 10%? Now, here's the thing. When you read the comments below in the videos, or if you could be in my email chain and you heard from these people from the UK, they're all flipping out. They are talking about how things are just completely over the top, you know. And then you get people that write me from Italy. Italy's out of control. Completely out of control as far as fertilizer, as far as food, as far as getting materials. It is an absolute disaster. But the people in the UK are living with 10% inflation. Nobody believes that. It's getting ridiculous now at this point. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. Let me know what you think about this. And you know, I love this park because when you go up here, you got all these different spots. Look at that. It's so amazing. So, but again, the UK, all the banking problems, you know, Liz Truss, the new prime minister, and she's got her hands full. And now they're talking about bringing Boris Johnson back. I don't, to save my life, I don't even pretend that I understand UK politics right now, because, okay, you know, the guy was ousted and now they're going to bring him back, potentially, okay? But let me know what you guys are thinking about all this stuff. I love when you get articles like this one from Wells Fargo that says, when can we expect the real estate slump to conclude? Okay. Now, the funny thing about this is it talks about Vegas, Seattle, all these hot markets in here, and how they're going to drop down a little bit, 6.5%. We may see new home construction drop 10.5%, but overall, we're only going to see housing prices drop 5.3% next year. No way, guys. This is crazy. The problem, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface on where this is going to go, because when you throw in the bank's instability, when you throw in all these experts that have written me, man, I have got some seriously connected people that are connected to big construction companies, to labor unions, to material suppliers, to banks, to everything. And you know what they're telling me? That this is the second inning on this thing. And that, Dan, your description of an avalanche is perfect, because right now it's just starting to break away from the mountain, and we haven't seen anything yet. We don't know how big this collapse is going to be, and nobody has any clue. Now, what Wells Fargo wants you to do is go get a home mortgage from Wells Fargo so they can service it for you. Now, guys, do what you want to do. Get yourself in as much debt as you want to get yourself into. My thing is to get myself in as little debt and out of debt. That's what I highly recommend. The people that pay their houses off, the people that have written me and told me that, hey, we paid cash for this, those are the smartest people in the world right now, because there's no way they're going to be hurt. Prices may fluctuate, but they don't have to worry about their job. They don't have to worry about something dictating them making payments on this right now, guys. This is going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and you haven't seen anything yet. But you're going to see one of these big banks go out of business. I'm telling you, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase, and Bank of America, one of those is going to have a real problem. I wouldn't be surprised if they merged a la Too Big to Fail 2007, 2008 again. So Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse, man, they're on the verge. But they also have all these different legal problems, tax issues, and issues with different things that they sold that we haven't even touched the surface on yet. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. But if you think that the real estate market, you could predict, oh, it's going to, don't worry, honey, it's going to just drop 5% and then we're fine. No way, no way. What about the loss of jobs? What about the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to lose their jobs between now and a year from now? Well, that's not going to happen. Yeah, it is. It is going to happen. And you need to get ready for that. So share your thoughts on all this stuff. Let me know what you're thinking. And there's a lot more to cover up here. I wanted to show you guys something. I was here last week, and remember the tide was really low? Well, today the tide is super high. And this thing was down less than a foot. Now it's at 5 feet. You can see how the tide changes. Also, another thing that came out was the Mannheim auction company that auctions off used cars is saying that the price of used cars has dropped 10% year over year. The first 15 days of October have seen the biggest decrease in used car prices since 2009. So again, guys, for those of you that didn't unload that used car, trouble's coming, because it's not going to sell. And the auctions right now, one thing that we're hearing from the auction houses is that people are showing up and these cars are not selling at the wholesale auction. So, man, you're going to see so many people get sued. Think about this. You buy a used car, let's say you paid 20 grand for it, but it really wasn't worth 20 grand and you overpaid for it and you financed it. And now the thing goes upside down and they can only wholesale it out for 15,000. You owe the 5 grand, guys. And they're going to start suing people for this stuff. So it's going to be great, because you're going to see a glut of used cars on the market, which there already are, and they're not selling. So again, people have no money. That's the problem with this. That's the moral of the story. And it's absolutely beautiful out here. But people have no money and used cars are not selling. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm going to finish this video with the last few real estate stories. Now, again, Wells Fargo knows everything, but the Orange County Register, which is our paper here in Orange County, just did a great article saying, is your city at risk of financial meltdown? Okay, hello. Okay, real estate is a huge problem, and it's only going to get worse. The number of sales for September were off 25%. The number of listings are off almost 25% as well. When you see these numbers, guys, it is absolutely staggering. And when you look at, we are at a 20-year low for mortgage applications where people are not applying for refinances and they're not applying for new mortgages at all. You've got that guy behind me with the parasail, kind of crazy. So please don't forget to take a look at our sponsor, Satellite Phone Store. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And the party announcement is coming tomorrow, guys. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.